Apple has officially dropped what could be their best smartphone deal of all time. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Hey everybody, today we are going to talk about some big news that Apple has recently released over the past week, and that is the iPhone SE 2, or just the 2020 refresh of the iPhone SE. And for those of you who do not know, the original iPhone SE came out probably about 5 years ago. And what the original iPhone SE essentially was an iPhone 6S crammed into a tiny little iPhone 5 body. So it was overall at the time pretty impressive that they fit all of those specs into that tiny case. They're not straying too far off the path here with this one. The iPhone SE 2 has been in talks for quite a few years now, and it is finally announced. Basically this time around what it's gonna be is it's gonna be an iPhone 8 case crammed with kind of a mixture of iPhone 11 specs and iPhone 8 specs. All that for $399. That is pretty insane. Apple has really never had a phone around that $400 price range that wasn't already 2 or 3 years old. So my goal in this video today is to basically break down the specs that you are gonna get in the iPhone SE 2, and I'm gonna make it as simple as possible for those of you who just don't know or don't really care to learn exactly what all this, fancy tech talk means. Anyways, let's get started. So like I said earlier, the iPhone SE 2 will be coming in the iPhone 8 case, which has some major positives to it, especially for myself. I actually, outside of YouTube, work in the phone industry, and this is something that I've been asked every single day for as long as I can remember. Basically, since it's in the iPhone 8 case, it is now officially the smallest iPhone that is available compared to the iPhone 10 and up. And this is gonna come in at a 4.7 inch screen, and it being in an 8 case means that it is making the return of the iPhone Touch ID, which has been a feature that people have missed for quite a while now. Even though I personally myself love Face ID, there are a huge amount of people out there who prefer Touch ID, so that is a major positive that is coming back. And one thing I found very impressive about the iPhone SE 2 is the integration of the A13 Bionic chip. Now, for those of you who don't know, it is basically their fancy name for the processor chip that is in the phone, and that is what's gonna make your phone lightning fast and just speedy, no load times between screens, all that. And this is literally the exact same chip that you're getting in the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Pro, Pro Max. So the integration of that into the iPhone SE 2 is insane for this $399 price range. It is in fact the fastest processor that is currently in a smartphone, by quite a bit actually. So that right there is a huge plus for the iPhone SE 2. And with that, you are getting 3 gigabytes of RAM in this phone. So that's once again gonna help with multitasking and just making sure that the phone is staying speedy. So overall for that $399 price range, 3 gigs of RAM is quite a bit. And then it's nothing too crazy with the camera aspect of things. You are getting a single lens camera on this one, where on the 11 you get a 2 lens camera, and on the Pro in the Pro Max, you're gonna get a 3 lens camera. So you are getting just the standard 12 megapixel camera that was originally on the iPhone 8. But now with the integration of that processing chip, the Bionic chip I was talking about, it does allow for the ability to use portrait mode, not only on the back camera, but also on the front camera. So basically what you're gonna be able to do with that is you're gonna get that nice blurry background effect behind your photos, front or back, which is amazing, once again, for this price range. Then another feature, which is nothing crazy since it's been around for a while, is the water resistance and dust resistance. It does have that feature, and for those of you who may be looking into this phone from an iPhone 6 or a 6S, or even if you're using a 5 still, it's gonna be a very nice thing for you to get, especially because I think we've all had an accident at one point or another where we got our phone wet or extremely dirty, and that's gonna kind of be some insurance right there for you. And then the iPhone SE 2 is gonna come in 3 different colors. You're gonna get the black and the white. And fun fact about the white this time around is you are actually getting a black front still with the white back, which before it was, if you got a silver or a white phone, the front would also be white. Not this time around. You're getting that black front, which I personally think is a plus. I think a lot of other people like that too. And then the third color, you are getting the Project Red, kind of fire truck red color. I appreciate them bringing that back around again. It's That color hasn't gone away for the last few years. Basically what the Project Red phone is though, is they take a percentage of any red phone that they sell and they donate a percentage of that profit to AIDS research. And then they do come in the standard 64 gig, 128 gigabyte, and the 256 gigabyte. Now those storage sizes have been around for the last few generations. But once again, for those of you who have been holding off for a phone just like this, you might be using like a 16 gig or a 32 gig phone, you know, whether you're using a 6 or a 6S or even a 7. So the base amount of gigs that you get on this phone is 64, which could help a lot of people immensely. And then of course this is technically labeled a new iPhone, even though it's a lot of recycled parts in the iPhone 8 case. But the great thing about it at this $399 price range is this phone's gonna be updatable for probably 4 or 5 years. So, I mean, for that price range, you're gonna be able to use this thing for a long time to come, especially with that speedy processor and those larger storage capacities. And then this phone is pre-orderable right now on Apple's website, along with, you know, any of the really phone retailers out there. So AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, all those pre-orderable right now. As far as my personal thoughts on the iPhone SE2, this is honestly gonna be a really hard deal to pass up for a lot of people, especially in the tech world that we live in today, where phones are costing $1,300 or $1,400. Really, like, that's more for like the small percentage of people that actually care about an OLED screen or a fancy triple lens camera, you know, small bezel, stuff like that. Most of the people that I deal with at work every day don't really care about any of that stuff. That's more for the techie people. So this is pretty much what a lot of people have been asking for, like I was saying. And this is honestly exactly what we need in the phone industry right now, because there isn't a lot of mid-tier phones that are that great. I mean, there's the Pixel 3a and the 4a coming out. Those ones have really kind of been running the market for those mid-tier phones. And there's a couple LG phones that are mid-tier and Samsung phones that are mid-tier. You're not quite getting equal specs that you're getting with the iPhone SE2 here. Now, if you're somebody that's looking for the best of the best, this is not gonna be the phone for you. Now, I personally think that this is gonna be an excellent option for, first, anyone who doesn't have a smartphone or has never used a smartphone. This is gonna be that perfect introductory phone for you guys. Apple not only has the easiest operating system to work with, it's just gonna have that reliability and the longevity with it. And you're gonna get that nice camera still, you're gonna get the speedy phone, you're gonna get the space that you need for years to come. And then number two, I think that this is the perfect phone to get your kid if they've been just riding you to get a smartphone, but you didn't wanna spend that $700 or $800 on an iPhone 11, or in a lot of cases, $1,000 and up on a lot of these new Pro phones. And then three, there's just a lot of people out there that just refuse to spend that much money on a smartphone. This is gonna be absolutely perfect for them. And this is kind of a game changer in that mid-tier industry that I've mentioned several times now. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling here. Moral of the story is, I think that this is one of the best, if not the best value Apple has ever given us, which is saying a lot for a company that, you know, gets a bad rep for overcharging for things. So it's cool to see them catering to the people that don't care about all this crazy fancy extras. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful with any spec questions, or really just if you were just looking for that little push that you needed to get this phone. I totally recommend it, totally think it's worth it. And that is coming from someone who does, once again, work in the phone industry. And I just don't see deals like this every day. So I do highly, highly recommend it. And as usual, I do appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. If you have any questions on this phone or any other phone, I am more than happy to answer them. Drop the questions down in the comment section, give the video a like, and then make sure to check us out on all our social media platforms, which I will drop down below in the description. Once again, my name is Brendan, and anything from tech, games, movies, and anything nerdy in between, make sure to subscribe to Digital Cynics. Peace.